Please rise now, is our bat mitzvah and her mother and two very proud grandmothers. Join us for the blessings for the candles to begin this Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav Etzivanu lehadlik ner Etzivanu lehadlik ner Etzivanu lehadlik ner
Our God and God of our ancestors, may the rays of these Shabbat candles cast their glow upon the earth and bring the radiance of your light to all your creatures. Bless our daughters with your love and our homes with the spirit of Shabbat. Amen.
Amen. And you may be seated. We now open up our Sidurim and we turn to page 5, Shalom Aleichem, Malchei Hasharet. Let us go now and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Lechuna Radonai Ladonai, top of page 11.
Lechuna Radonai, Lechuna Radonai, Lechuna Radonai Ladonai, Lechuna Radonai, Lechuna Radonai, Lechuna Radonai Ladonai. Naria letzuri sheinu. Lekadma fana betoda Naria letzuri sheinu Izmirat naria lo Lechune ranana Lechune ranana Lechune ranana Ladonai Lechune ranana Lechune ranana Lechune ranana Ladonai.
page 14, Yisbru Hashamayim, Vatagel Haaretz.
ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ. ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ. Yeramayam, 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 oh, oh, Yeramayam, 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 oh, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Metagel Haaretz. Yeramayam, 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 oh, oh, Yeramayam, 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 oh, oh.
And now we welcome the Sabbath bride, the Spirit of God, Shekhinah, page 23, Lachadodi Likrat Kala.
Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'ribur echad, hishmiyanu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad l'shmo echad l'shem u'tiferet, v'litila, v'litila. Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha, ki mekor habracha. Merosh mikerem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava. Techila. Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. We rise and face the door. B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom materet ba'ala, tam b'simcha u'b'tzola, doch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
You may be seated. At this time, we welcome those who are mourning into our congregation, and those who are in mourning, and those observing a yard site will now recite the mourner's Kaddish, which is found on page 30. Yit Kadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach Hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv v'yemru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Le'almei Almaya. Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei Dekudsha B'rechu Le'ela Min Kol Berchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Da'amiron B'alma V'yemru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael V'yemru Amen. Osei Shalom Bimramav, Hu Yaaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru Amen. We now ask everyone to rise for Baruch, page 39.
Baruch
You may be seated, and we continue with Ahavat Olam, page 40.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשובנו בשובנו נשיח בחוקיך עבד עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת ונשמח לדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגע יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. We join with Orly, page 41 in the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meotecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayam al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shiftecha v'techa uv'techa v'terek ub'shokbecha u'kumecha u'kshotam leot al yodecha v'hayu l'totafot b'einecha uv'tatam amizot betecha u'visharecha.
We continue silently to the bottom of page 42.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
When our ancestors crossed the Red Sea and were free at last from slavery, they sang this song to God, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, God, amongst the mighty, page 44.
He
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Help us to lie down tonight in peace and awaken us again tomorrow to life renewed. Page 45.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu l'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu Let me turn to page 46 as Orly leads us in Vishamru.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat l'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorat hamberit salam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat l'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorat hamberit salam. B'nei Uvein, b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat l'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorat hamberit salam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat l'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorat hamberit salam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat l'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorat hamberit salam.
We rise for Chatzi Kaddish.
Yikadal ve'yikadal shemech Rabbah. Amen. Be'yamad yirach cheruteh ve'yam likmalchuteh. V'chayechon u'byom echad u'chayetecho be'Yisrael. Ba'agalav
the silent Amidah, page 47 through page 52.
Page 51. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Tasim le'olam. Ki atahu melech adon l'chol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon l'chol hashalom. Shalom rav al Yisrael tasim le'olam. Shalom rav al Yisrael tasim le'olam. V'tov b'necha Tamcha Yisrael B'chol עת ובכל שעה לשלומך Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim le'olam. Baruch atah Adonai hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Now we invite everyone to put your arms around each other and sway as we join in Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom, Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, Shalom aleinu, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh Shalom, Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu יעשה שלום עלינו, שלום עלינו, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
And now we always do a special prayer for those who are ill, those who cannot be with us this evening, those who need a little extra support, a little extra comfort. Misha Berach on the back cover of our prayer books.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing for us and all of those we love. Misha Berach Imoteinu Mekor HaBracha Lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
May God bless us all with peace and happiness now and always. You may be seated. We'll continue with the Chatzi Kaddish, page 46.
Yikadav Yikad Hashem Merabah Be'amad Yivachirtei Be'amlich Malchutei B'chayachonu Mechon U'chayadecho Be'Yisrael V'galal Izman Kariv V'yimeru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'alam Amal Me'amaya Yibarach Yibarach V'yishtabach V'yipa'ar V'yitnamam V'yitnasei V'yitadar V'yitalei V'yitalal Shemei Tekudashah B'rechu Le'elam Yikol B'chirata V'shirata Chush B'chata V'nechemata Damiram B'yama V'yimeru Amen Titka Be'oz Loton Uva Uton Dechol Yisrael Kodam Overhon Devishmaya V'yimeru Amen Yehei Shlam Rabba Mishmaya V'chayim Aleinu Ve'akol Yisrael V'yimeru Amen Osei Shalom B'imromav Hu Ya'asei Shalom Aleinu Ve'akol Yisrael V'yimeru Amen.
Good Shabbos, everyone. I recently heard an appropriate analogy to anti-Semitism, where anti-Semitism is like a volcano. There's always lava underneath the ground, and there are certain conditions that cause that volcano to erupt. And one condition, as we've seen again and again, is when Israel is at war. 2 weeks ago, when Israel was at war with Hamas terrorists, There were nearly 200 incidents of anti-Semitism in 1 week across the United States. An 80% increase in anti-Semitic attacks in the month of May. Jews were attacked across Europe, and here in the United States, social media was on fire. Tweets like "Hitler was right" were sent across the world. Tonight, there are 2 points I want to make, followed by something I believe we can all do to fight the current rise in anti-Semitism. Number one, let us remember that anti-Semitism that we see today, it's from both sides, from the extreme left and from the extreme right. On the far left, the hyper-focus on Israel inevitably ends up hurting us. As writer Bret Stephens wrote, in recent years it has become an article of faith on the progressive left that anti-Semitism is not that anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism, and that it's slander to assume that someone who hates Israel also hates Jews. But not everyone, he writes, got that memo. Not the people who waving Palestinian flags and chanting "death to Jews," according to a witness, assaulted Jewish diners at a Los Angeles sushi restaurant. Not to the people who threw fireworks in New York's Diamond District. Not the people who brutally beat up a man wearing a yarmulke in Times Square. Not the people who drove through parts of London cursing at Jews. And not the people who at a protest in Brussels chanted "Jews remember Khaybar, the army of Muhammad is returning." Yes, there's always been a transcendent difference between criticism of Israel politics and policies undermining the Jewish state. In Natan Sharansky's 3D test for knowing when anti-Semitism bleeds and when anti-Zionism bleeds into anti-Semitism, delegitimization, demonization, and double standards is as relevant as ever. The progressive anti-racist movement in America could have picked a slew of horribly racist and murderous nations to go after. Instead, it chose a multicultural Jewish state. And intentionally or not, they have declared open season on us, the Jews. And I saw it even here in Houston. 2 weeks ago, I was at a rally in Herman Park for Israel, and a group of haters came by and made a gesture with their fingers that I cannot show you tonight. We see it on the far left. Anti-Semitism, unfortunately, is alive and well. And with that increase on the extreme left, we have continued to see an increase in anti-Semitism on the extreme right. Those on the right who embrace Nazi mass murderers, such as participants in the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, who marched with tiki torches while chanting "Jews will not replace us." They are motivated by the same fanatical anti-Semitism that motivated the Nazis. And over the last few years, crazed individuals who hold these views have entered synagogues in Pittsburgh and California to kill innocent worshipers simply because they were Jews. And these right-wing extremists are happy to join in on the festival of hatred against Israel and Jews everywhere. The extreme left and the extreme right, they agree only on one matter: hating Jews, sometimes even working together. I'm glad we can help unite them. And no matter from which side the anti-Semitism originates, it's equally dangerous. Yet, I hear from people on the right, they say, "Rabbi, it's those progressives, the squad. My side, it's not nearly as bad." And I hear from people on the left. They tell me, "Rabbi, it's those crazies on the right, the white supremacists. But my side, the left, it's not nearly as bad." It's like a game. Which side is worse? But as was recently written, anti-Semitism is being reduced to a race to the bottom, or which political party has the most anti-Semitic activity. One party points to the escalating violence against Jews by the left-wing progressive anti-Israel protesters in New York. The other party responds with the torch-bearing neo-Nazis in Virginia. None of this bodes well for American Jewry, much less American democracy. The bitter truth is That this isn't a Republican Party or Democratic Party crisis, it's an American crisis. And we're turning anti-Semitism from what it is, hatred of Jews, to what it should not be, a matter of partisan bickering. The more attention we give to finger-pointing about which party's anti-Semitism is worse, the more we legitimize anti-Semitism. Can we come together on this? And whether anti-Semitism is from the extreme left or the extreme right, they're both equally dangerous. And unfortunately, it's been on the rise in this country for the past 5 years. It really is remarkable. You have to hand it to the anti-Semites out there. When battles and wars break out in Israel, both sides, here and throughout Western Europe, have used it to hate on Israel and unfortunately, and at the same time, to hate on all of us. For centuries, we were persecuted for being a minority in the lands of others. But now, in this world, we're hated for being a majority in our own homeland. As Israeli author Amos Oz once observed, the walls of his grandparents' Europe were covered with graffiti saying, "Jews go to Palestine." Now they say, "Jews, get out of Palestine." And now, while they tell us to get out of our ancestral homeland, those on the extreme left accuse us of being wealth-obsessed colonialists who are opposed to the social and economic betterment of the Palestinians. And those on the extreme right, they claim we're inferior in our genetic makeup, yet we are so intelligent, they claim, we control the world with our unique cleverness. It makes no sense. We're small in number, but for the crazed right-wing anti-Semites, according to them, we compel far more powerful entities like the U.S. government to do whatever Israel needs to murder innocent Palestinian children. Yes, Israel hatred is very much like Jew hatred. The haters will always invent false and completely insane and ridiculous reasons to despise us. Those who have claimed that anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism, I think we were again reminded of the truth, the emes. Because if we know anything about modern Jewish history, an anti-Zionist is an anti-Semite. And I don't care if he's on the far left or far right, he could even be a self-hating Jew. In the words of Judea Pearl, father of martyred journalist Daniel Pearl, anti-Semitism, targets Jews as individuals. Anti-Zionism targets Jews as a people. And that brings me to my second point. This rise in anti-Semitism, unfortunately, it's not going away anytime soon. I hate to share such bad news on a beautiful night, but we need to know the truth because Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, Palestinian extremists, they're in this for the long haul. They don't hide their true intentions. You have to admire at least one thing about Hamas. They're honest. You can find it online tonight or after Shabbat. Article 6 on their website of their Hamas charter, a disgusting document, explicitly notes that their goal is to raise the banner of Allah over every inch of Palestine. That doesn't mean the West Bank or Gaza. That means Tel Aviv and Lod and Jaffa and Haifa and all of Jerusalem. And that, by the way, doesn't mean any compromise with Israel. When they chant from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, they say what they mean. As the Hamas co-founder, Mohammed al-Zahar, may his name be erased, explicitly told British TV last week that Israel has no right to exist whatsoever and the Jews should pack up and leave. So this is not going away. And yes, there are moderates in Palestinian society who want peace. Innocent Gazans who, like us, simply want to raise family and live peaceful lives. I feel terrible for them. Because when they speak up, Hamas kills them, arrests them, puts them in jail. But let's get one thing straight. No matter what Israel does, a new policy here or a new government there, less withdrawal or more withdrawal, no matter what Israel does, the terrorists and the extremists will never stop until there is no more Israel. So let's stop blaming Israel. That's like blaming the victim. We would never do that. If a victim was attacked on the way home from shul tonight, we wouldn't blame them from going in a bad neighborhood. We don't blame the victim. Let us not blame Israel. As the columnist Frank Fleming, he got it right when he recently wrote this past week. This was great. He writes, I think you're always going to have tension in the Middle East when there's people who want to kill Jews and Jews who don't want to be killed, and neither side is willing to compromise. No matter what the Twitter mobs, or excuse my language, idiots like John Oliver or Trevor Noah have to say, when it comes to our survival, there is no room for compromise. When Jews in our homeland have to hide in shelters, when families have to spend days on ends, imagine being there with your children or grandchildren. We do not have to apologize for defending ourselves while trying to save innocent Palestinian lives in Gaza. My friends, that brings me to something we can all do to respond. Rabbi Chazan Jeffrey Myers of the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, the site of the deadly 2018 mass shooting, was recently on one of the cable news networks discussing the surge in anti-Semitic violence across the country. And I love what he said. His response to anti-Semites, when they do more evil, I do more Jewish. I could not agree more with his answer. When they do more evil, let's not hide our Judaism. Let's not be embarrassed. Because over the centuries, we tried that approach. The secular, very secular Jewish community of Berlin tried that in the 1920s and 30s. It didn't work out too well. And let us not believe that anti-Semitism would go away if we kept our head down and didn't make waves. As the great Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel once said, the opposite of goodness is not evil. The opposite of goodness is silence. Today is not the time for silence. The great Jew haters of our day and age, they are coming after us. No matter how involved we are, no matter where we side politically, no matter what we think of Israel's policies, they are coming after us simply because we are Jews. And Israel's ongoing war with Iran, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and other extremists will not end until we defeat them. And no matter what we do, anti-Semites will find reasons to hate us. So in response, I say, can we be more involved? Can we be more Jewish? Can we support organizations like Federation and ADL and AJC and AIPAC? Can we rally for Israel, getting the truth out of what is really happening in our homeland with our neighbors and our friends and our business colleagues? Because if we don't do it, who will? But primarily, our number one response, when they do more evil, we do more Jewish. Because isn't that the secret of Jewish survival? We have never given up. Instead, we have persevered and maintained our traditions in the face of even greater obstacles over the centuries, for thousands of years. That's why we are still here tonight, celebrating this beautiful bat mitzvah. Let us never give up, because we do have many friends, we do have allies, and we have the power and the strength and the faith in God and the power of our tradition behind us. When they hate more, let us love more. And when they attack us, let us not just defend ourselves, but let us be more proud, more observant, doing more mitzvot, being more Jewish. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Let us now rise for the Aleinu as we return to our prayer books, page 56.
Eloheinu l'shabech l'hadon hakol l'teit gedula l'otzer breshit shelo asanu kegoyeh haratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo samchokeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamunam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noter shamayim v'yosed aretz u'moshe v'karav b'shamayim ima'al u'shliim natuzo megoreh meromi hu Eloheinu einon emet malkeinu emet zulato kagadu b'torato ve'adatayam v'hashavata elevaveha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim ima'al ve'al ha'aretz mitachat einon v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu hiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
And you may be seated. Tonight at Beth Yeshurun, we offer condolences to the families of Michael Utterhalter, Dorothy Rosenthal, Marty Harris, William Stewart Tarnapol, Gabi Braun, Cam Broslovsky, Zena Broslovsky, Fillmore Cohen, Pearl Levine, Roberta Sussman. The words of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 58. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah. V'yalma divrach yiruteh v'yamlik malchuteh. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh dekol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kari v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach leolam omei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach b'tpa'ar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudusha brichu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tishbechata v'nechemata, damiram b'yama v'yimru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. And you may be seated. On a very beautiful note tonight, we have 12 anniversaries to celebrate. 12 wonderful couples, and we're honored that you're with us this evening to celebrate this milestone in your life. First, celebrating their 22nd wedding anniversary, Barbara and Steve Levine. Mazel tov. And Barbara and Steve, you were married 22 years ago this weekend on the basketball court at the Murphy Center in a Mickey Minnie Mouse themed wedding. And there, our friend, may he rest in peace, Rabbi Radinsky, words of advice regarding your ketubah was, you promise her everything and she promises you nothing, and I hope you keep your promises. And you're very thankful during this pandemic, during this past year, to have started a new business called Coaching and Connections for Small Businesses that complements your Small Business Today magazine. Continued blessings, Barbara and Steve. Happy 22nd anniversary. Mazel tov. Celebrating their 31st wedding anniversary, Mindy and Miles Wertheimer. Mazel tov. And you feel very blessed this year. It's been a year of good health and happiness. You're very happy to celebrate the marriage of your daughter Holly to Matt. That was a beautiful occasion in the backyard. and to see the creation of the hashtag Abrahamers during this pandemic. And your daughter, Jacqueline, continues to impress you with her talent as she is making her mark in the entertainment business in Los Angeles. And your silver lining during this time was being able to enjoy your children during extended stays in Houston from their respective cities. Happy 31st wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. Robin and Jordy, happy 37th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. It's great to see the two of you look great, and you're looking forward in just 3 weeks. I think I saw them here earlier. Your youngest son, Eric, is getting married to Noah Gadot in Colorado in just 3 weeks. So Noah and Eric, early mazel tov to the two of you. And Robin and Jordy, only continued blessings. I think I see Amy. Amy was here as well. There she is here. Amy, mazel tov to you. It's great to see y'all. Happy 37th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. On the other side of the Abrahamers, celebrating their 41st wedding anniversary, Cindy and Jeff Abrams. Mazel tov. And the highlights from the year, of course, include the birth of your first grandson, Mo. He looks great, keeping that kippah on his head. I'm very impressed. We have this very proud parents. And of course, the wedding of Matt and Holly back in November. Only continued blessings with your growing family. Happy 41st wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. Paula and Rick Stein, celebrating their 46th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. And you just feel very happy to be healthy. You look great, and spending time with your kids and 4 grandchildren, especially your newest grandchild, Emma, born in July. Paula and Rick, 46 years. It's hard to believe. Only good things to come. Happy anniversary. Mazel tov. Celebrating their 47th wedding anniversary, Marcia and Arnold Abramson. Mazel tov. In the past year, you celebrated Marcia, your parents, Ray and Buddy's 70th anniversary. It's always good to have Ray and Buddy here. And the bar mitzvah of your oldest grandson, Ethan, which we enjoyed just a few weeks ago. And you're looking forward to the birth of your 11th grandchild on June 5th. In fact, tomorrow, right? So God willing, tomorrow. And one major feat over this past year was driving the entire length of I-10, the transcontinental highway, to see your kids and their families first in LA and then later east in Florida. Only continued travels, your beautiful growing family. Marcia and Arnold, happy 47th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. Celebrating their 48th wedding anniversary, Arlene and Joe Stoller. Arlene and Joe, mazel tov. And over this past year, we were able to spend lots of time with your children and grandchildren. You're looking forward to start traveling again. I know you got your first grandchild's bat mitzvah coming up this new year, so we look forward to that. Beautiful family. Arlene and Joe, continued blessings. Happy 48th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. Watching us online this evening, celebrating their 51st wedding anniversary, Diane and Alan Sofer. Diane and Alan, we miss you tonight, but we're appreciative that you're watching us online, and I know you're thankful for your health, especially after this challenging year. Happy 51st wedding anniversary. Celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary, Dennis and Laurel Brown. Mazel tov. And you had 2 wonderful blessings this past year. The marriage of your daughter, Dahlia, to Aaron back in July. And they're very happy living in North Carolina. And you were very fortunate both to have a healthy year. It's great to have you back. Only continued blessings. Happy 55th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. Celebrating their 57th wedding anniversary. It's really beautiful tonight. Celebrating their 57th, Sandy and Linda Hershkovitz. Where Sandy and Lydia are, back there. This past year, all of your grandchildren graduated either from high school or college, and those that graduated college are on their way to graduate schools. Only continued blessings from your ever-growing family. Sandy and Linda, it's great to see you tonight. Happy 57th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. And 2 more very special anniversaries. First, celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary, our friends Michelle and Martin Greenberg. Mazel tov. And one of the highlights of this past year was having your granddaughter live with you for 2 months while she began her job for the Sugarland Skeeters. And your other granddaughter graduated law school, and your grandson graduated UT at Austin and is headed to law school. And your great-granddaughter, who is 18 months old, is walking and talking, and one day may be at UT herself. And you just had your kids from Chicago visit you for a week. And finally, and most importantly, you survived being flooded out and COVID without killing each other. You look great. Michelle and Martin, happy 60th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. And our last anniversary, also an incredible feat, 64 years, Toby and Mort Joachim. Mazel tov. Toby and Mort, you're blessed with wonderful children, grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren, all of whom will be visiting you this July, Mort, when you celebrate your 90th birthday. Not a better way to celebrate. We look forward to that, to seeing them, and only continued health and blessings for the two of you as you celebrate 64 years of marriage. Mazel tov. And mazel tov again to all of our couples. It's so great to have so many of you with us this evening. Just a few quick announcements before you head off to camps, trips, or vacations that you may be going to this summer. This Sunday, join us for our summer kickoff drive-through from 11 to 1. From your car, you can pick up goodies, Beth Yeshurun swag to kick off your summer fun, enjoy some tasty frozen treats, and say hi to your Beth Yeshurun clergy and staff. We'll also be collecting 100% juice boxes to contribute to Kids Meal Summer Juice Box Challenge. That's this Sunday from 11 to 1. You can register on our website. Still can register. I know a lot of families are coming through, and I hope to see you this Sunday. Also this Sunday, we'll be joining our federation as our hosting Neil Lazarus, an internationally acclaimed expert in the fields of Middle East politics and public diplomacy. He'll be speaking on Zoom about Gaza, understanding the facts and answering the myths at 11 a.m. this Sunday morning. You can register on our website. This Tuesday evening, we'll be hosting a makeup session of our Pekuach Nefesh program with JFS. This mental health training was created specifically for our Jewish community and will show us how to recognize signs of distress and how to support yourself and others. I'm very excited to tell you on June 13th, in just over a week, our first ever Keilah High School Israel trip will be launching from Houston. 35 teens will be going to Israel for 3 weeks, and 13 of those 35 teens are Beth Yeshurun students. And we look forward to having them on the pulpit next Friday night to bless them and to wish them well as they have the opportunity to visit Israel. In 2 weeks from tonight, not next Shabbat, but in 2 weeks from tonight, starting on that Shabbat, we'll be back in our Freeman Levitt Sanctuary on both Friday nights and Saturday mornings, and we'll be having Shabbat lunches again every weekend. And we want to make sure, in case you missed it, we will be open for the upcoming high holidays. And we cannot wait. As in previous years, tickets will be mailed to all members in good standing later this summer, and we'll share more information, but we cannot wait to have many of you back in our sanctuaries as we celebrate the holidays this upcoming year, many continued Shabbats, and only simchas, only good things in the months and years ahead. And finally, and most importantly, not only do I want to wish Mazel Tov to our bat mitzvah Orly, I also want to wish you a very happy birthday. It's your 13th birthday. So it's a very special weekend. You got it in just in time to celebrate this great weekend with your very proud parents, Sherry and Steve. You got grandparents here, and of course your sister Molly. And of course, we think of your grandfather Bernie, that I know he's here in peace. I had the pleasure of growing up with Bernie. I known him for years and all the good he contributed to the Dallas Jewish community. So I know how proud he must be to have another wonderful granddaughter becoming a bat mitzvah. So we look forward to celebrating tomorrow as you officially become a daughter of the commandments. And so now let us bless our children that are with us and at home watching. For our sons, we say, Yisimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim be'ke'Menashe. May God bless our sons like Ephraim and Menashe. And for our daughters, we say, Yisimech Elohim ke'Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. May God bless them like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And may God continue to bless all of our children with peace. And let us say, Amen. And I want to make just 2 other announcements before I forget. First of all, Another sign that, thank God, this pandemic is ending, if not ended, is having our first Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Jack Siegel, and his wife Toby back in our sanctuary. And it's great to have you back. And one of our band members, my friend David Goldstein, who's had a beautiful graduation. His son Miles just graduated Emory Weiner this past Wednesday night and was chosen by his classmates to give one of the commencement speeches. Did an absolutely beautiful job, and Miles is heading off to Brandeis University this fall. So David, only continued blessings for you, and good luck paying for that, as you just said. But it's worth it, I hear. It's worth it. What a great university, and Miles, like all your children, is going to continue to do great things. So Mazel Tov, David. And let us now rise for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon, hinchelanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishi, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher letzion Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.